Good morning, students. Students, today we will start with a new chapter in history. The name of the chapter is Heritage Management. In this chapter is all about the sources of history, which helps us to connect the ancient period, and we have studied about the sources of history in the very first chapter of this subject. The purpose of history is to throw light on the past. This is done through discovery and study of historical sources. So let's begin with the introduction. The sources of history and all the history books that are available today are the results of the diligent work of several historians. Institutions, institutes like libraries, museums, and archives conserve and preserve this precious historical heritage. They choose important specimens from the heritage collection and exhibit them. We have seen all these books exhibited in exhibition also. They also publish research journals, informative pamphlets, leaflets, posters, etc. The documents and artifacts, which are not exhibited but historically very important, are stored in the museum and archives after completing necessary treatments for their conservation and preservation. Those documents and artifacts are made available to researchers as and whenever necessary. Now we see libraries also, they conserve, preserve and manage different types of books. When you go to the libraries, we get to see varieties of books available. Now let's move to the first point, that is sources of history, their conservation and preservation. So each step, like collecting the sources of history, creating their records and indexes, exhibiting manuscripts, old books, and artifacts after completing necessary treatment requires very careful handling and management. It needs people with specific skills. So to keep a library also you need certain skills. Only trained persons who are duly qualified can take up these tasks. So first we'll see about the oral sources of histories. Now in oral sources of history, it's necessary to collect and compile of folk songs and folk tales, etc. Then you need to classify, analyze and interpret the compiled material, whatever you have got. Then after that, what is done is they are published the result of respective research. Now, what are the necessary trainings? So it requires to preserve the oral sources of history, so the person should have knowledge in all these things. To preserve oral sources of history, the person should have certain knowledge about something. They are sociology and anthropology, social psychology, mythology and linguistics, library science and information technology, history and historical research method, and writing of research report and articles. So they have to have knowledge or trained in all these subjects. Next is written sources of history. Now, written sources of contemporary letters, official documents, administrative text, biographies, etc. So, the steps are, let's see what are the steps for the written sources of history. You have to, in written sources of history, collecting coins and copper plates with inscriptions on them, Documents like official records, personal correspondence and diaries, historical books, manuscripts, photographs, etc. Then completing necessary mechanical and chemical processes of cleaning for the conservation and preservation of collected documents, exhibiting sealed documents, publishing edited documents and research reports. Now, what do you require? What necessary training you require in written sources of history? So, you require knowledge of scripts like Brahmi, Modi, Persian, and the development, basic knowledge of social organization and traditions, literature and culture, administrative systems, etc., of past societies. You also require knowledge of various schools and styles of painting and sculptural and art and history of their development, knowledge of types of paper, ink, and colors. Then you also require knowledge of properties of various stones and metals used for inscriptions. Then you also require knowledge of equipments and chemicals used in various processes of cleaning, conservation and preservation. Then you also require knowledge of various approaches of managing exhibition, how you have to manage exhibition in museums, galleries and information technology. Then also you need to have the writing research reports and articles. Next we'll move on to is material sources of history. Now, as I said before, history holds immense importance in our life, right? Thus, preserving and conserving history is securing the history in order to look back into the cultural values of our society. So, in material sources of history, collecting artifacts, then classifying them according to the historical dates and preparing indexes. Then also completing necessary mechanical and chemical processes of cleaning for conservation and preservation of these documents. And also arranging exhibitions of selected artifacts of their replicas, and also writing and publishing research articles and collected artifacts. Then also we need to classify the fossils of dead plants and animals and also prepare indexes for that. Okay, now let's see the necessary training. What training you require for the material sources of history. First, basic knowledge of archaeological method and theory, history of ancient civilization. You also require knowledge of the regional of materials like stones, minerals, metals and clays used in the production of artifacts. Then you also require knowledge of equipments and chemicals necessary for cleaning the artifacts. Then you also require knowledge of various schools and styles of arts and their development, which we see in some things in the written sources of history as well. Then you require knowledge of various approaches of managing exhibitions in museums, galleries and information technology. Then also we require writing research report and articles at the end. Now next, let us see some famous museums. Okay, so we will learn about museums which has the collection. Now in museums, what do you see? Collections and antiques by the royal family and rich families of medieval Europe. So the first museum we are going to learn is about the Louvre Museum, that which is in France. So the Louvre Museum in Paris was established in the 18th century CE. Antiquities collected by members of the royal family were exhibited in the Louvre Museum. So whatever they used to collect was exhibited in that museum. It included the much acclaimed painting of Mona Lisa, as you can see in the slide, by Leonardo da Vinci, the world renowned artist. So, Leonardo da Vinci is a world renowned artist, we all know that. He worked under the patronage of Francis I, the King of France in the 16th century. The collection in the Louvre Museum increased to a great extent because of the antiquities brought back by Napoleon Bonaparte from his conquest. Presently, this Louvre Museum contains more than 3,80,000 artifacts. So many things you will see exhibited in this museum. Next, we'll move on to the British Museum, which is in England. The British Museum in London was established in the 18th century CE. Sir Hans Sloane, a natural scientist, handed over about 71,000 objects in his collection to the King of England, George II. It included, now what all this museum had? It included several books, pictures, specimen of preserved plants, etc. Later, the collection was expanded by addition of various art objects and ancient artifacts collected by the British people from British colonies. So presently, this museum collection comprises about 80 lakh objects. So this museum is also a very large museum. Next, we'll move on to the National Museum of Natural History, which is in United States of America. Now, this Museum of Natural History, managed by Smithsonian Institution, was established in 1846 CE. It houses more than 12 crores, that is 120 million specimens of fossils. That is, fossils are remains of plants and animals. It also has human fossils and artifacts. Next, we'll move on to see the museums which are in India. So, the first museum in India is known as the Indian Museum. It was established by Asiatic Society of Bengal in Kolkata in 1814 CE. The second museum in India is known as the Government Museum. This museum was established in Chennai in 1851 CE, and the National Museum, that is the third museum, was established in Delhi in 1949. Presently, there are several museums in various states of India. So, we find in India also there are many museums which we get to see. Usually, the big museums have their own archives and libraries. Some museums are affiliated to universities. So, if people or students wants to come to study, affiliated means recognized by the university. Such museums also offer courses in museology. Let's see further. Now, there are following are some of the well-known institutes and university which offer degree and diploma courses in museology. First is the National Museum, Delhi. So these are all the museums which are there in India. Maharaj Sayyaji Rao University, Vadodara, Kolkata University, Kolkata, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh, Jivaji University, Gwalior. Okay, so these are the museums or courses which are for museology, where we have these museums in India. Next, we'll see the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Vastu Sangrahalaya. In 1904 CE, some influential residents of Mumbai decided to establish a museum to commemorate the visit of Prince of Wales in India. In the month of November of 1905 CE, the foundation was laid of the museum building. So this museum was made to commemorate the Prince of Wales to India when he was coming. It was decided that the name of the museum would be Prince of Wales Museum of Western India. Then later it was renamed as Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Vastu Sangralay in 1998 CE. Now the building of the museum is built in Indo-Gothic style. It has been given the status of Grade 1 heritage building in Mumbai. The museum houses about 50,000 antiquities divided into three categories: arts, archaeology, and national history. So, next we'll see about the libraries and archives. Now, as we all know, libraries are the storehouses of knowledge and information where we get to see different varieties of books. Library science is very closely related to management, science, information technology, and fields of education. Library perform various tasks like collecting books, arranging them systematically, conservation and preservation of those books, dissemination of information sources, etc. Now, library is not just only having books. You need to arrange books properly as well. Many of these tasks are completed to make a book available to a reader as per their requirement is the important aspect of library management. So there are some of the names of libraries which are given to you. I won't read it out. You can read it later. Okay. Next we'll move on to the Saraswati Mahal Granthalay, that is in Tanjavur, Tamil Nadu, was built in the 16th 17th century during the times of the Nayak dynasty. That means when these people were there. In 1670 CE, Vyankoji Raje Bhosle conquered Tanjavur, which we have learnt in the earlier chapters, and established his independent rule. Now, Vyankoji Bhosle and his successors kept expanding Saraswati Mahal Granthalay, that is, Sarfoji Raj Bhosle contributed the most in the expansion. Then there are several noteworthy libraries in India. Okay, there are some important libraries in India. They are National Library, which is in Kolkata, Nehru Memorial Museum and Library, which is in Delhi, State Central Library, which is in Hyderabad, Library of Asiatic Society and David Sassoon Library, which is in Mumbai. So from this technical point of view, the management of archives is akin to library management. So we get to see so many different types of library. Okay, and we are able to revise any books whichever we want. So because of this heavy dependence on computerized system, information technology has become an inevitable part of the management of libraries and archives. So we only don't find books available, but we also get information through the internet as well. Okay. Next is the first official archives of India is the Imperial Record Department, was established in 1891 CE in Kolkata. Then later it was shifted to Delhi in 1811 CE. In 1998 CE, then the President of India, Honorable K.R. Narayan, opened the archives for public. It is a department under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Culture of the Indian government. Now this library includes record in English, Arabic, Hindi, Persian, Sanskrit and Urdu languages. So there are many books available in all these languages. It also includes records in Modi scripts. These records are classified into 4 categories. They are public records, oriental studies, manuscripts and private records. So there is government of every state in India maintain independent archives. The archives of Maharashtra state government has branches in Mumbai also. The branches are in Pune, Kolhapur, Aurangabad and Nagpur. Okay. Next we'll move to the encyclopedias. Now encyclopedias is a systematic compilation of information or knowledge of various topics. The information or knowledge in encyclopedia is arranged with a specified method. Organizing available knowledge and making it accessible is the main objective of the encyclopedia. Now let us see what are the benefits of encyclopedia. Now encyclopedia makes vast volumes of knowledge accessible to readers. There are so many things which you know, whenever you go to search on the internet regarding any project topic or assignment topic, you'll get so much in detail, right? So we have vast knowledge. It can help in satisfying the curiosity. Encyclopedias provide fundamental information on any topic in order to understand it properly. Thus, the reader gets motivated to read extensively. Encyclopedias make the existing knowledge easy accessible to scholars and researchers and also highlight the research area. Encyclopedias are indicators of the state of cultural ripeness of a society. It requires accuracy. Encyclopedias require accuracy, objectivity, standardization, format of presentation, and updated information are the criteria for designing a structure of an encyclopedia. Now, encyclopedias, how are they arranged? They are arranged either in alphabetical order. Okay, they are arranged in alphabetical order or according to the order of topics. The type of order is decided by keeping the convenience of readers in mind and easy of accessibility to the information. So the encyclopedia can be created either by a single editor or an editorial committee. The articles in the encyclopedias are written by subject experts. So it's written by experts. It's not easy to write. Next, we will see the types of encyclopedias. Now, encyclopedias can be divided into 4 types. They are dictionary, comprehensive encyclopedia, encyclopedic literature, and indexes. So, first we will see about the dictionaries. Now, we all know about the dictionaries, right? Dictionaries arrange the word in a language in certain order. That is, alphabetical order is more common in a dictionary, right? It gives meanings of words, synonyms, and etymology. There are various types of dictionaries. So in dictionaries also we get different types of dictionaries. Comprehensive dictionaries, dictionaries which include only certain types of words. Dictionaries of terminology deals with terms peculiar to a branch of knowledge. And etymological dictionaries includes thesaurus, dictionaries of idioms and proverbs, etc. Now, in the comprehensive dictionary, comprehensive encyclopedia, there are 2 types of Vishwakosh. It includes all subjects under the sun. For example, Encyclopedia Britannica, Maharashtra Dhankosh, Marathi Vishwakosh, etc. It includes comprehensive information on one chosen subject. For example, Bharatiya Samskruti Kosh, Vyam Dhyanan Kosh, etc. Then we have encyclopedic literature. Now it is similar to an encyclopedia which comprises scholarly articles providing information on all possible aspects of one or more predetermined subjects. For example, now what are the examples of the encyclopedic literature? They are Maharashtra Jeevan, they are volume 1 and 2, Shahar Pune volume 1 and 2, Yearbook, that is Manorama, Times of India, etc. Next, we'll move on to the indexes. Now, indexes usually occur at the end of the book. There are a few indexes published separately. Indexes are the alphabetical list of individuals, subjects, places, keywords, reference books, etc. For example, the index of Marathi periodicals prepared by S.G. Tate. Indexes are helpful in finding required information. Now, when we want to search anything, we go to the index, we see the page number, and then we are able to find it quickly. So indexes are helpful in finding required information, and it makes the information in a book easily accessible. We are able to get, if we have a big book, we are not able to find that page. So with the help of index, we are able to find it faster. Next, we'll move on to encyclopedia and history. So encyclopedia and history are academic exercises, put stress on objectivity, encyclopedia published in various countries and in various language may differ in their approach because of different priorities. Okay, so it differs to the priority, people speaking language in different regions. Their structure is influenced by national policies, ethical values, and ideals. Encyclopedias can be a medium of strengthening national identity. For example, Bahirya Samskruti Kosh, edited by Mahadev Shastri Joshi, making knowledge in all spheres of life accessible to everybody, can be one of the major drives behind the creation of encyclopedias. So, hence, encyclopedias are looked upon an outstanding achievement of a society. It is a manifestation of the collective intellect and creativity of a society. Next, we'll see about encyclopedias on history related subjects. Now, there is a rich tradition of creating encyclopedias on history related subjects like the Bharatiya Varshiya Prachin Aityasik Kosh by Raghunath Bhaskar Godbole, which was in 1876, is the earliest, this is the first encyclopedia of this kind. It includes information about various individuals and places in ancient India. So this encyclopedias in detail has information about ancient India. According to the editor, those individuals who live in Bharatvarsha earned a name for themselves and were a part of us along with their women, their sons, their religion. So what all things are written in that encyclopedia? Their lands, their capitals, also rivers and mountains. Okay, whatever the history is given in the encyclopedia. 23 volumes of Maharashtriya Dhyan Kosh edited by Sridhar Venkatesh Ketkar are available. So there are so many different types of encyclopedias available in different languages. Then we can see there are so many names given. You can read it later. The first volume includes information on the lives of individual. Mention in the Vedic literature includes different languages. It also, there are certain encyclopedias on the Buddhist literature also. Similarly, other volumes contains biographies about individuals in the respective periods. Next, we'll move to Styalkosh. Now, geographical information is essential for historical studies. Okay. So, encyclopedias giving information about historical places are available. Styanapoti, that is 14th century CE, is an encyclopedia text which is composed by Muni Vyas of Manubhav. It describes all those places visited by Chandrakar Swami, that is the founder of Maha Anubhav sect. It gives us an inking about Maharashtra in those days. Now these are about all the encyclopedias, the names which are given. Then there were people in different languages, in the Buddhist literature, in Greek, in Chinese, in Persian literature, all these encyclopedias which are available. Next we'll move to Vishwakosh. Now the Vishwakosh, the first Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Honorable Shri Yashwantrao Chauhan, initiated the compilation of Marathi Vishwakosh through Maharashtra Rajya Sahitya Samskruti Mandal with a view to enhance the sphere of Marathi language. So to spread Marathi language, this person called Yashwantrao Chauhan initiated this Marathi Vishwakosh. Then we have Samskruti Mandal with a view to enhance the sphere of Marathi language and literature. The work was started under the guidance of Tarikit Lakshman Shastri Joshi. It contains knowledge about all possible subjects in the world. It also contains very important entries about history. Next on, we'll move on to Bharatiya Samskruti Kosh. Now there are 10 volumes of Bharatiya Samskruti Kosh. It was edited and published by Mahadev Shastri Joshi. Now these volumes, what do they contain? They contain information about Indian history, geography, various ethnic and lingual groups, local history of those groups, their festivals and cultural aspects. Next on, we'll move to the Smadhanya Kosh. There are various encyclopedia texts explaining about the terminology, for instance of colonialism, globalization, etc. Such texts are very useful for the teachers of history. Okay, so these books, these encyclopedias are very important for people teaching history. So they are able to refer these books and get knowledge about it. Then school, college and university teachers of history can find ample opportunities in the field of publication of encyclopedias. Encyclopedias of all types require experts in history. Every subject has a developmental history. Scholars of history can contribute significantly to encyclopedias of various types. So people can read those encyclopedias and get knowledge about the topics they require. After studying this textbook, you must have noted that with specialization in history, one can get access to several opportunities in various fields. You can choose your future career with the help of the information in this textbook. Okay, so in this textbook, we learned so many chapters which are related to the ancient history regarding tourism, sports, right, entertainment. So here we end with this chapter. We will learn the next chapter in the next video. Thank you for listening, children. Goodbye. Take care.